In one of the cities of Greece, 3 princesses lived. All 3 were beautiful. Beautiful enough to make people pause, if only for a moment. But when Psyche entered a room, no one looked away. Her beauty was uncontrollable. Her hair was often slightly undone, her clothes simpler, looser than her sisters, not from carelessness, but because she refused to trade her freedom for being seen as more beautiful. Psyche knew she was beautiful. What she never understood was why her beauty mattered more to others than she herself ever did. People came from distant cities, not to hear her voice, not to know her, only to see with their own eyes whether a girl truly existed whose beauty deserved worship. They said her beauty was so great that even Aphrodite, the goddess of love, could not pass her without notice. Painters remembered her face after a single glance. Sculptors carved stone in her image. Musicians wove her name into their songs. At first, Psyche enjoyed the attention. Who doesn't like being seen? And yet, amid all that noise, she was alone. Even beside her sisters, they tried to resemble her, but the harder they tried, the more they faded. They loved her. But sometimes, the way they looked at her felt closer to doubt than admiration, as if she were a flaw in nature, something too striking to feel right. And trouble began exactly there. Offerings in the temples grew fewer. Instead of lining up for Aphrodite, people gathered at ceremonies where Psyche might appear. Golden statues of the goddess were slowly replaced by figures of a mortal girl. For Aphrodite, this was no longer simple jealousy. This was a threat. So she sent her son, Eros, the god of love, not to destroy Psyche, but to erase her. To bind her heart with a single arrow to the ugliest creature he knew, to turn a beauty once worshipped into an object of ridicule. That night, Eros entered Psyche's chamber. Silent, emotionless, he lifted the arrow. The same motion he had made countless times before, but the wind stirred. The thin veil slipped aside, and for the first time, Eros faced a beauty unlike anything he had ever seen. A face innocent, yet free, wild and impossible to tame. In that moment, he understood why his mother feared this mortal girl. Lost in his gaze, he felt a sudden burn tear through his body. Pain, sharp and unexpected. When he looked at his hand, he understood. The arrow of love, meant for Psyche, had wounded him instead. His hand trembled. Not from pain, but from something newly forming inside him. He could no longer obey his mother's command, not because he was wounded, but because now he knew that harming Psyche would mean harming himself. Time passed. The sisters were married off to kings of neighboring lands, but Psyche, though worshipped, remained alone, as if no human heart could ever reach her, not because of a curse, not because of fate. The reason was known only to the one who was meant to strike her with love. Her father, confused and desperate, went to the temple of Apollo to seek answers from the oracle. When he returned, his face no longer looked like that of a king. It was the face of a man who had heard something he wished he had never heard. The prophecy was simple. Psyche would not marry a mortal. Her fate was bound to a winged monster, a creature feared by both gods and men. And if this fate was not fulfilled, the god's wrath would burn everything to the ground. When the truth was spoken, silence swallowed the house. The sisters cried, then they thought, and then they were afraid. They told their father that one does not bargain with gods, that if Psyche was not sacrificed, everyone would suffer. With grief, the father told Psyche she did not believe in the god's prophecy. But under the pressure of her sisters, she surrendered. The morning of the sacrifice, the air was heavy. No storm, no rain, only a silence that pressed down on the shoulders. At the edge of the cliff, Psyche stood. She looked at her father, still hoping he might change his mind at the last moment. Her father turned away. Her sisters and her mother stood behind him, weeping, watching. No one stepped forward. Hope faded with every second. She took one final look at everyone she loved. Heartbroken, she closed her eyes, and Psyche fell. Suddenly, the wind rose, violent, unnatural. Psyche did not scream. The only thing she felt was weightlessness. And then, she vanished. Everyone believed it was over. But when Psyche opened her eyes, she stood before a white palace, silent, beautiful, impossible. She did not know whether she was breathing, or if this was the final dream after death.